testing out the system. Hope this doesn't bother anyone that watches any of my stuff. I'm just trying to see how well things work and hoping on improvements. I'm about to play the video now of Collins. And
if this is October, that must mean it's time for the quarterly report in Minnesota, where everybody gets together and complains about black crime in downtown Minneapolis. It's like clockwork. I mean, it's been happening for the last couple of years. Every couple of months, a bunch of people in downtown Minneapolis get together and they go, man, we're finally drawing the line on this crime. I mean, no more, not on my watch, no more. I mean, the bar owners do it, the victims do it. I mean, so this black violence in Minneapolis takes a lot of different forms. But what everything has in common is this enormous amount of denial. But the denial comes from everywhere except from the people actually doing it. So, they just had a mayoral forum in Minneapolis, right? So all the candidates are standing up there going, hey man, no, not on my watch. We're not going to do this crime thing in downtown Minneapolis anymore. No, no, no. So everybody's got their own ideas for, you know, jobs and midnight basketball, all that kind of stuff. But then the paper, to its probably inadvertent credit, the paper went and found a black state representative. And she said, well, what do you think about the whole idea of putting more cops in downtown Minneapolis to stop the crime down there? She goes, oh, no, no, I'm not down with that. Because everybody knows the only reason that more black people are, you know, if you put more cops downtown, the only thing that's going to happen is they're going to start arresting more black people, and the black people are going to be overrepresented in the crime numbers. I mean, that's fantastic. Then she came out with my Hall of Fame statement. The one I love more than anything else. She goes, we're not going to arrest our way out of this mess. So that's how they roll up in Minneapolis. But this is also, I mean, so black and white crime in Minneapolis is just like part of the DNA now. Everybody who gets unhappy with it has moved out of that city a long time ago, replaced by a whole bunch of people who just look at it and go, well, yeah, you know, that's just a normal thing now. Kind of like this story.
The man accused of setting his girlfriend on fire is now charged with murder.
Tonight, court documents reveal the disturbing moments at her Minneapolis home this week. In the complaint, a neighbor describes hearing the woman yell, then seeing her on fire from head to toe, falling down the steps outside. Investigators found melted gas cans and accelerant on the woman's bed, where she says he lit her on fire. She did make it to the hospital, but she did not survive.
Here's the man now charged in the case, 32-year-old Wendell Faison. Our Josh Rosenthal goes in depth on his past.
Investigators say Wendell Faison murdered his girlfriend. If so, this wasn't Faison's first offense. We checked his criminal history and found at least 5 other cases dating back to 2011 in which Faison was charged with a domestic violence-related crime. Put simply, he's a repeat offender. And he's not alone.
It is extremely rare to have one domestic violence incident in a relationship.
Many jurisdictions across the state have programs in place aimed at stopping domestic abusers before they reoffend. For example, in Ramsey County, deputies asked domestic violence victims these questions, called the Lethality Assessment Protocol. The answers serve as a permanent record used by law enforcement and in the courts.
If we have a relationship where there is domestic violence, these are repeat occurrences. And typically over time, if unchecked, will escalate.
Prosecutors in Ramsey County are also striving to deal with the problem, oftentimes pushing for what they call quality convictions instead of non-domestic violence-related charges like, for example, disorderly conduct.
That, I think, helps because if you get a conviction on something called the qualified domestic violence-related offense, then if there's repetitive behavior, then subsequently you're going to get more attention and you're going to get more of a prison sentence should you get to the felony level.
And to be clear, Ramsey County is not the only one with a program like this. They are one example of what is really a broader effort, not just across Minnesota, but across the country as well.
So this is how they roll in Minneapolis. This guy had a rap sheet, very, very long. Everybody knows the only reason black people got arrested in Minneapolis is because of white racism, because of lack of job opportunities, because of Well, whatever the excuse of the week happens to be, that's how you get to be arrested all these times. Then you're back out on the street just a few hours later. No apologies, no promises to be good. And that's how you hook up with another young lady in Minneapolis who also knows that the only reason that guy was arrested was because of white racism. And she's not a racist, so what harm is she in? And that's why she didn't pay attention to all the numbers that show black on white domestic violence is 8, 10, 20, 50 times greater than domestic violence among white couples. I mean, people who know that in Minneapolis, people who should know it. They're just not saying it. That includes reporters, that includes cops, that includes public officials, that includes people that show up at goofy anti-crime forums that they have every 3 months up there like clockwork, with the one overriding principle of fighting crime in Minneapolis remains today as it was for the last 20 years. Don't make the black kids angry.
Okay, that's it. I'm pretty happy with the way that went. I think I'm going to finish this stream and bid you a good day. Thank you very much.